Payton Pritchard, Sam Hauser, and Luke Kornet. Three guys who have grown to play with each other in this secondary unit for this Celtics team. But approaching this season, no one saw this coming, with all three players standing out individually for this Celtics squad this year. So, what has Brad Stevens been able to do to hit on those draft picks and undrafted steals? And what has Joe Mazzulla been also able to do to reinvigorate some of these players and bring out the best in them? We'll be diving in and looking at all of that and more on these player reviews on Celtics Digest. I am Bruce Veliz, and you guys have been fantastic, showing your love and support for Patrick and I over these last couple of weeks, and we really do appreciate it. Obviously, the Celtics find out who they will be playing in the first round of the NBA playoffs tonight as the Magic and Hawks take on. We did a little bit of a preview of that in our latest video, so if you missed it, go check it out. But if not, we'll obviously have a live stream tomorrow breaking down the Celtics' first round matchup versus that team, really going into depth on that. So you definitely don't want to miss that. Stay tuned for that tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Without further ado, let's dive in and let's get into this video where we look at these player reviews. And Patrick and I are going to do this little bit of a series here on the channel where we dive in and look at these three players. And ultimately, in this video, I wanted to pick out three players that I really thought stood out individually for the Boston Celtics this season. And the first player that we're going to be diving into is Payton Pritchard. And a lot of people, I could say, did not see this coming for Payton Pritchard this year, as a lot of people's discourse around Payton Pritchard and his role that he could bring up this season was debated about. And I know of my boy Bryson over on Thunder Digest had a discussion with me about Payton Pritchard being Sixth Man of the Year before the season, in which he thought it was absolutely crazy and asinine that someone in the Boston area that he was living in at the time going to school could think that the fact that Payton Pritchard could be in that Sixth Man of the Year conversation. And we've seen with this Celtics team this year that Payton Pritchard is definitely deserving of being in that conversation. We want to look at some stats revolving around that. Payton Pritchard has one of the highest true shooting percentages by a bench player this season, taking at least 250 field goal attempts, where Payton Pritchard finished with a true shooting percentage at right around 53.8%, which is a solid percentage. We also saw that Payton Pritchard, for his Sixth Man of the Year case, which we just brought up, has been leading that Sixth Man of the Year case since the start of the year, as he is first in bench points, first in bench three-pointers, first in bench plus minus, most three-pointers off the bench in the entire NBA season, where he's also leading the NBA in 20-point games as well off the bench. If we want to dive in and look at Pritchard's stats on the season, like I mentioned, 14.3 points, 3.8 rebounds, 3.5 assists on the season, averaging almost a steal per game as well, while shooting 47% from the field and 41% from three-point range. Gotta tip your cap and give Payton Pritchard the credit that he is well deserving of for this award. There are some players that are obviously near him, but personally, I thought he could be a starter last season, and I had some discussions about that on some teams, but he's clearly proven this year that he is in that echelon of being a starting point guard, if not low-tier starting point guard, a top-tier bench point guard, similar to what Tyus Jones had a couple seasons ago in Memphis. This is the type of pedigree and pedestal that a player like Payton Pritchard is now going to be handled on, if not even better than a guy like Tyus Jones, as his ability to create as a shot creator and be a better defender is clearly shown in the younger guard in Payton Pritchard. But not only has he in this Sixth Man of the Year race, but he also is setting some records for this Celtics team. As we saw this year, him and Antoine Walker, the only Celtics in history of the franchise to record 200 plus three-pointers and 100 plus offensive rebounds. As we all know, Payton Pritchard has that knack to be that offensive guard. And if we want to look at his stats for his shooting ability this season, as you can see, all green for Payton Pritchard, who is one of the top 10 shooters in percentage this season with attempts from three-point range, catch and shoot, free throws, all of the above. He is one of those top tier guys. And we've seen this ascension with Pritchard this season, something I'm very happy for and proud of. Someone who I had as a Sixth Man of the Year candidate last season. If you want to go back and do your digging on Celtics Digest with my predictions before last season, I had Payton Pritchard in that Sixth Man of the Year conversation. Maybe it was a little bit too early, but I tell you right now that I was all in on that bag way before it was happening, and I'm glad that it's finally coming through with fruition. Maybe I'm just a year too early on some of these predictions with some of these guys, and we'll really get to see Xavier Tillman and Neemias Queta really pan out like I was talking about last season as well. But Payton Pritchard, kudos of a great season to him when looking back at this year. Really stamped himself in the Celtics history as one of the top tier backup point guards, cementing himself as a potential $6 million candidate. It would also be great to see the Celtics get that recognition for Pritchard as well, as they recently had just won it with former Boston Celtics point guard Malcolm Brogdon, which goes to show you from top to bottom that this Celtics team really is impactful. The next player we're going to dive in and talk about, and let me know your thoughts on Payton Pritchard down below in the comment section down below, is going to be Luke Kornet. And Luke Kornet has been absolutely fantastic for this Boston Celtics team as a backup center. One who, if you go back and look at those videos last year, someone I was not the biggest fan of going into the season, has really changed my perspective of him dating back to last year. Last year and even going into this offseason, I thought him and Queta would be competing for this backup bench role. Potentially even thought Queta could surpass Luke Kornet in that bench role, specifically if Kornet or Tillman had left this franchise, with Queta getting a little bit more of a bigger leash. But with them all coming back, we saw Luke Kornet was that stable rim protector, that guy, that balanced center as well. And we saw that dating back all the way to the start with this preseason. If you don't remember, when Porziņģis was out dealing with those injuries, Luke Kornet got the start in Abu Dhabi versus that Denver Nuggets team. And a lot of people hit the wrong button, were confused why Luke Kornet was getting that start, why Luke Kornet was gifted with that opportunity. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he clearly proved that he could be that guy to work with this starting lineup and be ready to stay ready to take his role as a passer, as a rim protector, giving that Luke Kornet corn test. But not only that, getting those little tip-ins, being in every right spot, making the right pass to help this offense fluctuate and have that ball movement. But not only being a fantastic screener and roller, really getting comfortable working with Jayson Tatum this season. As you could see, one of the top 10 pick and roll combos in the league, just behind Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, with Jokic definitively being the best big man in the NBA right now, if not a top tier big in NBA history. And you look at all the other players that are listed behind them, all guard lineups with top tier starting bigs. Luke Kornet, the only backup big listed in this type of set, goes to show you how undervalued he is on the Boston Celtics on a $2 million contract. You look at this tweet from Sean Grande as well. Luke Kornet's net rating this year as his son would say, is low-key crazy. A 15.2 net rating is absolutely insane. And not only did Luke Kornet get up there, but give props to Al Horford as well. We also saw from Noah Dalzell where she asked Luke Kornet about his memories from stretches when he was a DNP for many games in a row, and what his message is for the young guys who will find themselves in that position now. And he basically said, as a player that has gone through the ringer, brought to the Celtics, cut and waived, gone to two other teams on 10 days, brought back to the main Celtics. He has had this happen before and is finally getting that appreciation that he's well deserving of in all the hard work and grit he has put into this work. And he says it's just a lot of peace to come to a life of accepting that the position that you're in and then just doing the best with that versus trying to fight it and wanting to be in a different one. You can spend a lot of time worrying about things that you can't really control, but when you just take the opportunity that you have and do the best with it, and with the days like today where a lot of guys come in and were able to contribute, you can have the peace about knowing that you did your job well, just as well the day before, the day after. It might just look little different every time. I feel like that's what I've been taught through my life. That's the one thing with the attitude that you can have, that you can actually do something with, versus trying to control things that are outside of your control. And Kornet has been able to put that on display once again, being able to take care of those advantages that he's been given within this Celtics team. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the year, when Nikola Jokic was out Kristaps Porziņģis was out, and the Celtics took on the Nuggets in Abu Dhabi. A lot of people questioned, would Horford get the start? Who would get it? And when Luke Kornet got it, a lot of people were shocked. But not only from day one has Luke Kornet proven and shocked these Celtics fans on what he can be able to do in this organization, but this season he has brought it and proved it, doing what he can do in his control to help out this team to succeed, and he's done that fantastically. If you want to dive in and look at Kornet's stats on the season, like I mentioned, 6 points, 5.3 rebounds, 1.6 assists with 1 block per game. No three-pointers for our boy Luke this season, unfortunately, but a solid performance and one of the most underrated bigs across the NBA. Someone who got more money than the Celtics gave him last year and still decided to come back to the Celtics will definitely be getting a hefty payday in free agency, and the Celtics have to look if they're going to be able to keep Luke Kornet and retain him, because I think he's a necessary piece for the Celtics team, not only individually, but in with this unit to find success. And lastly, the last player we're going to be diving in and talking about for this Celtics video and looking in a review is Sam Hauser. And I picked these 3 players all together just because they have that bus one connection from a couple years ago with Blake Griffin, where they all were kind of these stay ready group, stay ready mentality guys for the Celtics as those extra rotational players. And not only have they appreciated that and fought through the grit and grind with that, but have bolstered themselves up into key roles for this Celtics team to make impacts when it is needed or when the Celtics have to ask for that kind of impact. And we see with Sam Hauser, he's been able to do that not only with these guys, but within himself. I would say Pritchard and Luke Kornet have obviously looked a little bit better than Hauser have in their impactful roles for this season, but Hauser has been able to deliver as that catch and shoot shooter when he is hot and stay applicable as a solid defender within the Celtics rotation as well. We see from Taylor Snow that Sam Hauser is the 3rd player in NBA history, ladies and gentlemen, to shoot 100% from the free throw line in just one season with a minimum of 1,000 minutes, and the only others are Tony Snell and his teammate Payton Pritchard. Something else you love to see. And this quote, this picture here is courtesy of Wayne Spooney on the First to the Floor podcast. Shout out to him. I was looking through Twitter trying to find some images for Sam Hauser, and this one showed some greatness. And with Sam Hauser, it's a little bit dated, so it was around the end of March, but in that last 20 game stretch, we saw Sam Hauser's true shooting percentage jolt up, his 2% and his 3-point percentage absolutely fly through the roof, in which we like to see with Sam Hauser getting in that rhythm and really finding himself comfortability. And we've seen that through stretches this season and last season where Sam Hauser really gets in those strides for 3 to 4 games where he's very, very comfortable, can hit those 3-point shots. He's a little bit of a streaky shooter, but like I said, still impactful and still necessary on this Celtics wing, specifically if Brown is going to be, maybe not limited with this knee injury, but still dealing with some of this knee injury, and with Jayson Tatum also being on the wing, having another 3-point shooter in Sam Hauser is definitely viable. And not only just that, he's a fantastic scorer as well. Hit the wrong button once again, but no Devin Booker. We're looking at Sam Hauser's stats. 8.5 points, 3.2 rebounds. Absolutely fantastic. 0.9 assists, shooting 45% from the field and 42% from 3-point range. He has been absolutely electric for the Celtics team, and once again, is a key staple. Cannot be replaced for the effectiveness that he provides on the 3-point line as a scorer, as a catch-and-shoot guy with those connections with Payton Pritchard and Luke Kornet. These 3 guys have not only grown together as a unit, but also individually this season, with Pritchard obviously succumbing to that 6th man of the year potential. Luke Kornet, one of the best, if not most underrated backup bigs in the NBA on one of the better, cheaper value contracts. And Sam Hauser, a trending 3-and-D wing who is looking to get better on both sides of the ball each season in his strides of offense and defense. We have seen all of them grow, and to be honest, we all saw them getting better, but no one saw this type of leap within all 3 of these guys individually. If you talked about them a couple of seasons ago, no one would have predicted that Payton Pritchard would be a 6th man of the year, Luke Kornet would be this dominant backup big, or Sam Hauser was going to find himself a role being an undrafted wing out of Virginia. But they have all proved it wrong. They all have put that hard work and grit and grind to get to where they are, and it all is been put on display with their great play for this Celtics team. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Very, very ecstatic to see this great transitions from all 3 players, Sam Hauser, Payton Pritchard, and Luke Kornet this year. I can't wait to see what they can bring for the Celtics in the playoffs, similar to what they did last season. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let me know what you guys think about the Celtics team, the Celtics players, and how you guys ultimately feel about these 3 down below in the comment section. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a great rest of your day, and go Boston Celtics. Peace out, everyone.